First of all, I would like to apologize in advance for this episode may be a little bit short. So, hopefully everyone has seen Luke Cage. I personally thought it was pretty good. Not quite as well made as Daredevil Season 1 or Jessica Jones, but I enjoyed it more than them for some reason. Probably the fact that it had a bit more in it. I don't know, it's just kind of my opinion. Well, one thing I noticed while watching the show is that it's going to be kind of awkward when the Defenders form. Luke Cage, at least for this series, as well as Jessica Jones in her series, did not wear costumes. However, we waited for an entire season to watch Daredevil don his. If Iron Fist gets his costume as well, half the team will be wearing costumes and the other half won't, and fashion choices will just be all over the place. So, this week, I think I'll talk about the issues of costumes versus no costumes, because that seems like fun. When superhero comic books first appeared, Superman was dressed like a weightlifter. He had a cape, he had bright colors, and it gave him a garish and colorful outfit. Batman also followed suit, using a costume as well. This continued for a while until the Fantastic Four appeared. They wore no costumes, just jumpsuits that could mold to their power set. Clark Kent wore glasses to differ himself from Superman. Batman would lose his reputation if people found out he was Bruce Wayne, but the Fantastic Four really didn't think of that. They just didn't really want to use a costume to hide their identities. One of the main uses for a costume is just that, hiding one's identity. Superheroes such as Batman, Superman, or Daredevil use costumes to protect those they care about, people without superpowers who could get hurt by their enemies. But the Fantastic Four aren't worried about that. They all have superpowers, and they're a family. They just wear their jumpsuits because they're the only clothes they have that they can use their powers in. Luke Cage is bulletproof, but his clothing isn't, as pointed out several times in the show. So wouldn't it be nice if someone he knows to help him with a massive amount of bills that would be weighing up on his clothing expenses made him a bulletproof suit? There are a bunch of merits to wearing colorful costumes, but I think it boils down to three main ones. The ability to be recognized, the ability not to be recognized, and the ability for the costumes to help you in your endeavors. The first two may seem contradictory, but give me a minute to explain. First, the ability to be recognized. This basically boils down to, if you see Barry Allen, you may not recognize him, but if you see a man in a bright red costume with yellow trim zipping through the streets, you know it must be the Flash. This would also make it hard for people to mistake you for someone else, Luke Cage. The second reason is concealment of identity. If people recognize that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Aunt May could get shot by one of his enemies, like in the Civil War comic run. If all of your loved ones are superheroes, however, like in the Fantastic Four, it may be wiser to just throw caution to the wind and not tell as many lies trying to conceal your identity. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, by the way, the third reason for costumes. They can mold to your power set. In Luke Cage, he is constantly wearing clothing that is torn to shreds by bullet holes. If you did this on a regular basis, the cost of your clothing would skyrocket. However, if you, say, had a bulletproof shirt, or no shirt at all, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. For every positive about wearing a costume, there are negatives. They make it hard for people to find you when you're in costume. They're hard to get and occasionally very expensive. They look ridiculous and they can make you feel awkward in social situations. But I personally think that the costumes are a good idea. They easily identify you as a hero or villain and can help you in your endeavors. But let me stress that this is my opinion, and if you have a different one, comment below. Actually, tell me what you thought of Luke Cage there too. How does it rank with the other Marvel shows? If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Please, it really helps. But for now, this is FGI, signing off.